name's Lance Chrisinske, and shot this buck in Jackson County last bow season. He scored 175. So the story started pretty much driving home from work, working second shift, and happened to see him cross the road in front of me the one night. And then a couple weeks later, the neighbor across the road had him on camera behind his house, literally just walking through his yard. And from there, started waiting for a night hunt once it started cooling off. Finally got a good day off of work. It was cool out. Figured I'd go hang a stand up. Went in, hung a stand in it. We got about 150 acre swamp. And went and hunted it on the edge of it on a fence row. And about an hour after I hung the stand, saw a nice buck step up out of the red brush and glassed him with the binos, and could tell he was a nice buck, but couldn't tell quite what he was. He was about 200 yards away at that point. And then he just disappeared for a good hour or so. Had some does start moving, and he popped back out. And that's when I first got a decent look at him and realized he was a shooter right off the bat. And, chased the does into about 40 yards, and happened to, one of the does just turned away from me, and she ended up actually running all the way across the swamp. He chased her. They ran 250 yards straight away from me. Watched him just run completely out of my life. And at that point, definitely thought the hunt was over, and I didn't have any hope that he was coming back. Hung the bow up, and was just sitting there kind of defeated. Figured probably wouldn't ever see that buck again. And threw a grunt out at him just to try and get him to turn. And for some reason that doe, I don't know if she thought, if I can get this buck off of me by going over to where this other buck's at, she literally came to the base of the tree, stopped, and just sat there, and he started making his way back. And then the shake started getting it sighted. Figured he was coming in right to the base of the tree to follow her. Sure enough, followed the trail into about 30 yards, and at that point drew the bow back. When I drew, the doe at the base of the tree actually took off. She spooked, saw me draw or heard it, and he locked up, froze right where he was at, looked right at me. So I ended up letting the arrow fly at that point and hit him right in here, right in front of the shoulder. He could hear the air escape his lungs when I hit him, and he ran, I don't know, probably 60 yards back into a red brush patch. And I thought I saw him wobble a little bit, but I wasn't sure. I knew that it was a frontal shot, so I wasn't super positive about the situation. But so I backed out. Couldn't find any blood at first, so I backed out and waited about 2 hours. Went back, still couldn't find any blood. Could tell the arrow was still in him. There was no pass through. So I started doing circles and ended up basically stepping on his rack, and that's how I found him. And that's pretty much how it went.